Welcome to Sports Sometimes. I'm TJ Carpenter. Tonight we're going to talk about the future of the National Football League. If you haven't been paying attention, the league is doomed.
The myth that you've always had about these players in the NFL is gone.
Totally gone now.
Goodell and the privileged player protester elitists are trying to destroy what was once a great game.
They're dying the death of 1,000 cuts. And Roger Goodell has lost control of this thing, and now he's afraid.
The NFL is in a box. I think they're in a really bad box. You look at what's happening with their ratings, you look at what's going, I mean, frankly, the only thing that's doing well in the NFL is the pregame.
There's the Ray Rice tape, the second Ray Rice tape, Greg Hardy's domestic abuse scandal, and numerous other domestic violence scandals, Deflategate and the subsequent Deflategate legal battle, the racist nickname of one of its most popular franchises, concussions, head trauma, and the link between playing football and CTE, and of course the ongoing power struggle between Roger Goodell and the owners and the NFLPA. Things do look dire for the National Football League when you put it in those terms. In a recent report on Jerry Jones' ongoing battle with the NFL front office, one owner was quoted as saying, "The problem is no one is talking about games anymore. It's about concussions, Jones versus Goodell, Ezekiel Elliott's suspension, the anthem. No one is talking about football. It's just killing the game." Roger Goodell's job as commissioner is to do one thing: keep the curtains drawn between the viewers and the wizard. As long as fans are distracted by football, they don't tend to notice the seedy underbelly of the league. That's part of the problem for NFL owners. It would be hard to focus on how attractive Chris Hemsworth is if he had Ray Rice growing out of his head. But a little mismanagement never hurt anyone, except for the XFL and the USFL. And I think the USFL a second time, maybe a third. Anyways, why the NFL is widely so considered to be doomed? Consider what actual Roman Emperor Mark Cuban said back in 2014. Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered, and the NFL is looking a little hoggy. Sounds like a thumbs down from His Highness. Ignoring the fact that Mark Cuban is the same guy who invested in Toy Guru on Shark Tank less than a year before the company went completely bankrupt, it's not necessarily the worst or most unobvious criticism. It's also not the first time the National Football League's doom has been forecast. Here's Howard Cosell in 1984.
There will always be a place for the National Football League and a big place in the sports spectrum of this country. Because of a multiple number of factors, will it ever get the ratings that it used to get in the halcyon days? In my opinion, no.
Now that was in 1984. Little did Cosell know the league had just drafted John Elway, Dan Marino, Eric Dickerson, and a slew of other future Hall of Famers. The league was still entering its golden age, not leaving it. After finishing his historic career, Tom Brady will retire in the year 2054, and the league will be in disarray. Then the Patriots will, of course, draft little Johnny Utah, and the league will be saved again. The NFL will always have players. Not even concussions and CTE are scaring people away. Participation in youth football has grown nearly 2% in tackle football and 9% in flag football in the last 5 years. Cosell was worried about this stuff in the 80s. Do you know the full extent of the NFL's financial crisis today? The NFL is projected to do $14 billion in revenue this season. That's 40% more than Major League Baseball, which is currently losing fans to death by natural causes, or as it's also known, watching baseball. 5 years ago, the Dallas Cowboys were the only NFL franchise in the top 5 of Forbes' highest valuation list. Now, NFL teams make up 4 of the 5 highest valuations for professional sports in the world. The ratings are trending downward, along with all traditional media measurements. Less people are watching traditional television. But the ratings are only now accounting for some official streaming services, which of course doesn't include pirated streams, which are rampant. But remember, the heart wants what it wants. Woody Allen said that, and then he married his daughter. Point is, football fans don't really care about domestic violence, concussions, political protests, or a calculated effort to ignore the purpose of those protests, at least not at the expense of giving up football. Fans want what they want, and they'll find any way to get it. Saying that the NFL is doomed is probably true in a nihilistic sense. Yes, Howard, we're all going to die someday. Well, you actually already did, like 12 years ago. But that's not the point. Fans want football. Nothing will prevent that. Not media commentary, not ownership, not the commissioner, not moral, political, or fake outrage. Maybe an intergalactic catastrophe. If Neil deGrasse Tyson tells me that the sun is about to explode and consume the earth in an incomprehensibly violent inferno, then maybe we'll all do something else on our Sunday afternoons, but not a moment sooner.